Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the D.M.C podcast, episode number 17, with your hosts, myself, Cody Hunter, and the legendary, the inspiring, and also the educating master he is, Adam Rigby. Adam Rigby,
What's
long
up?
time no see, my bro. How are you, man?
Oh, mate. I kind of feel like I've come into this like one of those movies, where the car just comes in hot, puts on the handbrake, and slides into a park sideways.
Yeah.
That's been the day, the week, and it appears the month. But man, I'm good. I'm still absolutely high as a kite, buzzing off our last episode with Jace Tipatu.
Oh, mate.
Wow. Next level.
It was next level, bro, and like so many good comments from it. I mean, I re-listened. Like I literally just sat there most of the time just listening. It was so good, mate. Like I just felt like I was just sitting there watching a podcast. But I really enjoyed that. Some amazing insights, bro.
Yeah, deep individual, super kind, super caring and gracious. And it's great to connect with people like that you have in your life. And also the affirmation for him that people really appreciate and dig what he's doing, and the stuff that he says really resonated. Same thing, getting a lot of messages from people I know, some people I didn't know previously, thanking us for having him on as a guest. Just in terms of that awakening, that spiritual awakening and the stuff he's doing, especially with children. So a reminder for our listeners and viewers, if you do have siblings, if you do have brothers, sisters, children that are in schools, if you have access to school boards, committees, etc., have a crack, look up M3 mindfulness for children, see if you can get it in your schools or your community. Just imagine that atmosphere, just imagine the environment when you're sending your children off, or your brothers or sisters off to that, into that space where they are, where it's peaceful, where it's mindful. Imagine the impact that has on the classroom and the learning, the education, the growth, the development. Far out. So that's the type of stuff we need to do. That's the type of stuff we need to teach and coach, not only from children, but we need to learn more about it as adults. Start the path early, and we're big about that, bro. That's us. We're saying, mate, get on the path to enlightenment, to self-development and improvement early, and improve the quality of life moving forward every step you take in a more comfortable shoe.
Well, that's what I was just about to say, actually, was the whole imagine, because we do talk about that, the earlier you can get into it. But then learning those tools, like I love the way he said tools, because as you know, I'm a big tools guy. I love to have tools in the back pocket. But having those tools for kids to be able to learn to notice how they're feeling and have strategies around how to deal with it, and to be able to express what's going on, versus just running blind in this environment of stress and pressure and having no idea what's going on, or just being told to be quiet or sit in the back of the room. So I actually had a chat to my brother this week too, and he just brought up his whole mission with his daughter is to instill lessons and things that she can use for the rest of her lives. And I think that's cool, especially if you don't really remember or you didn't really receive any yourself. It's like, imagine having that ability to know that as an 8, 9, 10 or whatever year old, like to deal with that stuff. It's so good. And if there's an opportunity to be able to get the right people in to teach that and learn from, let's go.
And what a legacy, what a legacy to pass on, because there's so much hatred and so much pain that's passed on as a legacy, unfortunately, in the society we live in. That's very hard to let go of, and people carry it with us. It was funny, I saw talking about daddy issues, and however light they were comparative to other people's issues. Carrying that with you unnecessarily, like I say, take the lesson from it, lose it if you can, and make every step you can to make the next part of your journey and the people that you carry with you or are alongside you just more comfortable, more peaceful, more loving. It's fucking hard. But the best thing, and we're big on it, right? The DMC, the best thing is when we start to talk about it, we understand it, we break it down, and stuff comes out of our chats, where you're like, oh fuck, hang on, I've never talked about that before, where did that come from? But it's that slowly, as we break down those layers, as we open up more and more, as we become more comfortable with the idea of sharing a little bit more about who we are. We understand that we're not the only ones going through some shit, and that people have had tools or experiences that have helped them through, and they share them with you. And then, mate, happy days. It's that flash of inspiration where you're like, fuck, those gotcha moments. I love that, talking to Jace, just listening to him. It's fuck, blown away. Wow.
So good. And it's that the more you do these things, the more you speak, the more you practice, like we say, it becomes a habit. It becomes like a positive habit, right? So the less you speak, the less you share, the harder it becomes when you get asked to, hey, Cody, can you stand up and tell us a bit about your life or whatever? And you're like, oh yeah, cool. Like you're all nervous and embarrassed or shy, or there's something you haven't dealt with. So like I mentioned to you offline, where yesterday I was away for business and I sat down beside this guy, a 71-year-old gentleman. And he was really intrigued by the fact that I was journaling, and we got chatting about my journaling. And he told me that only now at 71 years old has he realized how important it is for his mental health, for his spirituality, for his life, for his freedom. He goes, I feel like I'm invincible now, was the words he used. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So of course we talked, I think it would have been about a 20-minute conversation before he had to get up and leave. But the conversation was so deep. We talked about the D.M.C podcast. He talked about his journey. And again, like I said, at 71 years old, and he's that fired up at 71 years old about what he's realized, that he wants to share it with everyone, but he no longer runs his businesses anymore. He's retired. So he's like, what can I do to add value? This is his conversation. And he goes, I don't often have anyone in my life, including family, to talk about these things with. And finding you here in this cafe was a fucking sign. And he was so stoked. Yeah,
like, I love that. I love, awesome. As we said in the last chat, the universe will find a way for you to communicate and live that life and live that message. And I think, like a love for life, or a quest for quality of life, it's untapped, it's unlimited, and it's a never-ending resource. Whereas you say, if you set, it's the finite versus the infinite. Reading Simon Sinek's Infinite Game, but it's the finite goals that can come to an end versus the infinite. If we talk about developing a lust for life and self-improvement, that is absolutely infinite. We're untapped. We don't even understand it. The top scientists, the biggest brains in the world, do not understand it. They try, they attempt to break it down and make sense of it, but it's untapped, and it will give you so much health, wealth. It is a new lease on life, eh? It's and they talk about living two deaths, the death of old self, and the life of another. I think, bodies become like memory pillows. They're like the old bamboo pillow, and your outer body versus inner body and energy, and your outer body absorbs all of the environment, all of the atmosphere, all of the lessons, and you carry it, you drag it around with you. And it's not until you can actually dig in below that, all of the stuff. And I think that serves a purpose. That's what it's there for. But when that starts to override the inner body, the energy, the light, that's when we start to have problems. So work from the inside out, peeps. Work from the inside out. And we've done both, eh? I mean, we're doing both. I think the funny thing for us is we've both been on journeys that of a physical nature, where we've expressed ourselves through challenges, through pain. And I think that was part of my journey too, is going out and putting myself through moments of triumph, moments of victory, moments of challenge, moments of intense failure, moments of pain, to be able to learn, to be able to grow, and now to be able to share and actually investigate the other stuff, the deeper side of life, the meaning of life. So, I think we were chatting about that flow, about the universe flows like a river. And I think it's an unstoppable force, and the pain for us in life is actually trying to resist where the universe tries to lead us. So I started to listen to our podcast last week, and you and I talked about this again, bro. And I was like, fuck, I've got to sit down and actually, this is something that I'm not going to fly through, that I'm not going to cruise in my car. I don't want to miss a second of it. It is deep. I need to sit down and soak in this.
Yeah, that's right.
And so, peeps, man, just go back to it and listen to it, because it's just a new level. a higher level of consciousness or subconscious, and yeah,
Talk
blown
about
away and
chats,
humbled
eh?
by the fact. Oh, fuck, mate. You know, it's some again for us. Things like that are a turning point for us too, eh? Because, like I said, we were just sitting there, like we were watching a podcast to be able to, you know, from the structure side of it to having those questions that were probably outside of the square, me from the spiritual side, sort of breaking down, making sense of it, because everybody works independently or different. And I think that that's one thing that people have expressed to me. What's great about this forum for you and I, because our chemistry is awesome, but we think the same, but the structure potentially is a little bit different at our ebbs and flows, but it works because you know, our mission and our purpose is combined. As that with our listeners and viewers. Hi, by the way, how you going? And we know you've subscribed, but have you got friends to subscribe? We're going to give you an awesome way to make sure that your friends have subscribed, because we're going to give away some stuff. Let's talk about that. We're going to throw it out in the universe. Codes.
It's got to be done, mate. We've been talking about it and we've let the universe get in the way, but now it's time.
Talk is just talk. So right here, right now, we are here to tell you that we are not only going to give away some fine merchandise, a limited edition, one of only 4 in the known universe. That's right, unless there's some sub-universe that we don't know about that's actually producing these hats. I don't know. I mean,
it'll be a different color, though. Different color.
Yeah, it'll probably be a different color.
Yeah.
And in some different hieroglyphic language that we don't understand. Anyway, so if you saw it, you wouldn't even know it was a D.M.C podcast hat, because fuck. Anyway, 1 of 4. So this is a limited edition, handcrafted cap, snapback cap. Not only that, a copy of the 4 Agreements, a book that Cody and I love. I suggested a friend of mine read it. She has actually read it, and she's got the 4 Agreements up on her wall now. So she sees it every day, which is amazing. So it's something that I know everybody can benefit from it. It's deep, it's spiritual, but it'll enable you access to a couple of parts of, there we go, a couple of parts of yourself and the universe that you may not be in tune with. So yeah, we'll do that. But the highlight will be a chat with the boys. That's right. We are going to reach out to you. We are going to call you and we're going to have a chat. We are going to have a Zoom, baby. You and I, we're going to have a deep and meaningful chat. So that's part of the prize. Now you figure it out, whether that is the top of your list or the bottom. It's going to happen anyway. Hopefully it's the top. Yeah, you value that above all the materialistic things we have talked about. But that's our prize pack that we were giving away. Now, Codes, how do our viewers / listeners and everybody get into this competition?
Well, I think the first step is we'll put a post up on our Instagram page that will give you the guidelines, because we need you to tag people in the comment section. And also there'll be about 3 or 4 missions in order to enter. That will be tagging friends, obviously, to our page, subscribing to the YouTube channel, of course. And we'll make it very clear in that post that we'll post up today.
Yeah, and it's normal for every channel. You know, the views are substantially higher than the subscribers. It takes a second just to subscribe. You don't have to switch notifications on if you want, but it makes a big difference to us. Shows us that the content, there are people out there that care about it. Regardless, we will push this out into the world, because I think it's important. We've got some real cool things that Cody and I have discussed work on to enable you access to more of this information more regularly, and when you need it in a shorter format. Because I know that maybe 60 minutes to 90 minutes can be challenging for all of us to sit down and listen to a conversation. So we're going to start to break some stuff down for you. Cody's a big journal man, so we're on the path to produce a journal. So that's me throwing it out there in the universe, Codes.
Yeah.
And would love an opportunity to meet as many people as possible to get out there into the wide world. So we're doing some stuff that will enable us a format to come out and see you guys face to face. So that'll be super cool and exciting. And then they'll get to see the man, the myth, the mountain that is Cody Hunter and I can't stand behind him because you won't actually see me, but I'll try and stand beside him.
Side, and by the side and slightly in
Is it
front, bro. That's how you do it. You just
Yeah,
slightly get in front.
yeah.
So
Yeah, a little bit
perspective
of a
makes
chest,
it.
a little bit of a chest pump, a little bit of a
That's how you
chest
do it,
pump.
mate.
But that is our mission. So that's coming very, very soon. It's a couple of things. It's a way to say thank you. It's a way to get our brand out there, but it's also, you know, a way to spread the word, spread the mission. We talked about it before with books. We're doing it on our daily D.M.C. We're pushing those out, which is amazing. And even, you know, we get to the end of the day, we push through the day, and we're limited on time. Our commitment is still to push out the content, and it's relevant and it's real. It's what we're feeling, it's what we're thinking at any given moment. And sometimes, you know, you think, geez, I've got nothing to say, but sometimes that's exactly what you need to say.
Yeah. That was
when everything strips away.
Yeah, that's right. And that was me last night, actually. And I'd already done a bit of content for another group I've got, and I'd kind of been quite exhausting. I'd been traveling, the day was a bit rough, and I was like, oh man, I got to come up with something. What am I going to talk about today? Because usually I'm just inspired throughout the day. And then what I realized is that doing a little reflection on the day, you know, like the positives, what I talked to in my other group was the things that, you know, achieved throughout the day, like being able to work out still, being able to do this and that, and get these little small victories out, having a big ass salad for lunch instead of like burgers and fries and whatnot. So there's lots in there. So, you know, so you get inspired by the things that you've done, and there's a way that you can share that. And the whole thing with yesterday was just to give everyone a little reminder, to like finish your day and have a little think about the small wins you got, because everyone's wins are different. Remember, perhaps putting your t-shirt on the right way was a major win today, or, you know, making that phone call that you've been putting off for years, but you made it. So yeah, so you've got to like remember, like don't, wins are no small wins, big wins, they're all wins, and we have to really focus on those a lot, especially if you've had a tough day. Like yesterday wasn't a tough day, but I was wrecked, so it was quite good just to sit back and go, hold on, let's feel good about what I've achieved today. What are some things I'm stoked about? And just list them all off, and you go to bed feeling like a freaking superhero, mate. It's amazing. So it's good practice.
Yeah, bro. So I mean, you know, both you and I are even tempered through this process. We try and stay relaxed even under pressure, but it is challenging. I mean, sliding into this call, you were on a phone call trying to sort out some stuff. I had a couple of phone calls that came through, which was some stuff that presumably had been sorted, and it wasn't on me, but it came down to my job at that moment to sort that out, which is absorbing stress. And it's just the way it is. So it's how you approach those little things.
Yeah.
Discussions like this and being mindful, learning to relax and learning to breathe in those moments is super helpful, because then if you carry stress into a situation, you absorb it, all you do is push stress out. So, you know, sometimes you just have to be a flipping dartboard and be the break in the chain, be the break in the negative chain, and just reset and send it away in a positive message, because at the end of the day, there's nothing we can do. You know, Wellington, we are now in officially level 2 because of a case from Sydney decided to come and go walk about. It was bound to happen. You know, it was bound to happen. I'm not surprised that it has happened, nor should anyone be surprised. But all we have to do is, you know, we have to tighten our belts and tighten up ship and just do what's required to get through this, and make sure nobody else gets infected or afflicted. And we can push on. So if we do that, we don't have to go to a complete lockdown. You know, it is scary going to that space again. And I really feel for people. Last night at the gym was a little bit of a nightmare. We went at last minute down from a 60 bike studio with 2 packed classes to only having the availability because of social distancing to go to 30. And in the first class, somehow the booking system failed, and there was people waiting at the door with tickets, and it was a stressful situation, but the feeling that we were letting people down that had come to work out. Some handled it very well. Some really needed that workout. So tried to accommodate as many as possible. But again, you know, in those situations, you can't really do anything. The poor people at reception couldn't really do anything. It was just one of those things. But in those moments, you know, it is the most important thing happening for you at that time, you know, and that's taking it personally. The whole situation affects me. And so we need to big picture these things. So, yeah, unfortunate that it came down to a stressful situation with people. I did apologize. And hopefully next week we can get back to to normal. One good thing that it opened up, had the opportunity for someone to sit 2 meters away from me, but at the front bike, so someone could actually have an extra bit of space in the class, and may have actually, by accident, or the universe has sorted that out, started someone on a journey to instruct as a fitness instructor. Maybe we'll see, but that's how it works. So just moments like that, there's always opportunity and chaos as well. So yeah, super stressful, a lot of pressure on, a lot of overthinking. At times like these, people seem to go back to the equation: how many times do I think I'll take a shit? How much toilet paper will I need? How many loaves of bread will I bake? How much flour will I need? And they rip into the supermarket and grab everything. Limited once a day, mate. Come on, even, dude. I don't know. I don't know the equation. I haven't looked up the sums. I haven't Googled that. Yeah. No one wants to Google that. But just be gracious. Be considerate towards other people. If other people want to behave that way, that's on them. You don't have to get tied up in the frenzy, because that's how the universe works too. It's that subconscious, I'm going to follow everybody else, when all you need to do is woosah. All you need to do is breathe. Woosah. Unfortunately, 75% of us we've got our foot in the future, and we're thinking about what's happening, what's going to happen, where am I going, what's going to happen, what's going to be like. Stop. Majority of the rest are living in the past, and even there's an overlap where some of us live in the future and the past, and we're holding on to that. Stop. Okay, we've got to take a breath and remember the most important thing is what's happening right here, right now. We talk about it all the time. Presence of mind, the power. I'm reading The Power of Now. Wozzles.
It's another level over, yeah.
Yeah, there's some deep learning. There's another book called Flow, which again is more of a practical guide, I guess, of sorts, but just about the importance of enjoying moments and unlocking the joy in every moment, appreciating everything around, and that everything is actually great. Everything is actually pretty cool. I had a walk this morning, a self-imposed walk where I dropped my car off and decided to walk. I didn't realize it was actually such a long hike. But in the walk, just, sun on the face, a beautiful breeze, one of those cool winter days, but beautiful, such a stunning day, blue sky, watching the birds fly, just being able to close my eyes on a straight path and just breathe. Just such an amazing experience, opening up, thinking, far out, I may be under the pump today, I may be super busy, but man, just take a look around. How awesome. How awesome. And I guess another thing too, bro, is something I was really interested in. And we talked about the flow of the universe, and you talk about those little wins. I was really keen to chat about the importance of chasing your dreams. Not sometimes it comes down to having a big, hairy, audacious goal. Because we've all had things, as I said before, you and I have worked towards things. We've had goals, things that we have wanted to achieve. We've set standards for ourselves, and when you're goal orientated, you kick it off and you knock it off. But there are things that are in our control in terms of those big, hairy goals, and there are things also, I guess, outside of our control, things that we were meant to be, things that we are meant to do, and that takes time. Some people figure it out super early. Some people, like your 71-year-old mate, it comes to him super late in life. I discovered a long time ago through our chats. I mean, early on we talked about it. I know exactly where I'm supposed to be, as I said just before in our conversation, gone through victory, failure, pain, all of those types of things to lead me to a spot where you and I can communicate and hopefully help people, and that'll grow, and we'll be able to communicate and help more people, and they will be able to communicate and help more people. And we can see the flow on effect as we chat with Jace Tapata and our community grows, and we understand that we are connected. But I think out of the gate, and I'm interested to see how you feel about it. That I feel that a lot of those goals that we have, the dream is actually, we've got to be very, very careful and mindful when you get to a stage where it's not actually your dream that you're chasing. It's someone else's, and it could be a parent. Always wanted to play tennis. Andre Agassi, great example. Achieved everything you can achieve in the sport, wealth, fame, but hated it. But and read the book. Stunning read. I'm going to pick that up and read it again. An amazing read about a man who was, I guess in a lot of ways forced to practice daily, put through pain, a ritual led him to be top of the world, but realistically he was chasing someone else's dream. It takes a lot to actually pull that apart, and do an assessment on, shit, is this something that I really want to do? A lot of us don't actually discover that until we get to it.
Yeah, mate. I've experienced it heaps of times, and when you're not in line with what you think you're supposed to do, you can feel physically sick or stressed, or you get symptoms like headaches, and because and I've had people work for me in the past as well who I can tell are in the wrong space, especially in the coaching world. So if I go back to talking about the coaching world, in that environment, when you're a coach, you're in front of a class, everyone does exactly what you say. You know what it's like. People see you do that and they say, fuck, I want to be like that. I want to do that. That looks epic, and so they go along with the journey, and perhaps they study. But with some of our examples overseas was that we sort of put people through training, we got them on board and got them quite quickly up into the front of the class. And then they realize they have to be on like that for 3, 4, maybe 5 hours a day. They have to be in form for hours and hours on end, coaching, 20 odd people per class. Now, with some of the people we worked with, by the end of the day, you could tell they weren't in line because they were not physically exhausted, but still happy and fulfilled, but everything tweaked out, like exhausted to the point of like, I can't do this anymore, where they couldn't be themselves anymore because they'd almost given all of their energy to being an act. They're acting this way. They're acting like someone that wants to be like that. And then when they finish, they're like, far out, I can't, what have I done? Like, I'm just totally ruined. And that was happened quite often, and you can see it really clearly. But when you see the ones who are in line and they're doing it for the right reasons and because it is what they want to do, it's flawless. Sure. I mean, I've coached up to 8 hours a day of group classes plus personal training in the old days. But I still have a smile on my face at the end and I'm still loving it. Although I'm wrecked, and of course I don't want to do any more for that day, but you're still happy and you're like, yeah, I'm in the right spot. I'm doing what I love to do.
Yeah, when you're forcing it, that's resistance, and it can be way more than, I just think I'm tired. It may not be you, and that's okay. What I think is, if you have those short-term goals, you have something that you always wanted to do, and if we look at something like an Ironman or an event, and you get to it, and I think the mentality is accept the lesson that you have out of that experience, but you don't have to hang on to it. I think that a lot of people hang on to those victories and those glories. It's like wearing a tracksuit from a rugby team when you won a final, 15 years ago, and that becomes your identity. It's not. It's a small of it. It's a stepping stone in your life. You use that part of your life to propel you to the next one. You don't have to hang on to it, and you don't have to let that define you as an experience and say, I've done this, I've completed this at a high level, this is me. It's not necessarily the truth. I know both of us know the importance of having goals or aspiring to do stuff, and that gives you motivation. You can't let that completely consume you, 1,000%, and you can't fast forward too much, because that becomes anxiety, an anxious environment when you're trying to compare yourself to future self too much. I think you can check into it. Like if you've got a training session and you're going, okay, this is where I want to be. My big hero audacious goal is fitness driven. I'm going to put myself in those shoes, what it feels like to be in that environment, to be the best, to be physically strong, to be powerful, to be athletic, to be at the peak of my performance. I'm going to be that. I'm going to do that right here, right now. But you don't have to continuously compare yourself to that level or that standard each and every day, because that can be tiring and it can just wear you down to say, I'm not there. But do check in. So small victories like you talk about that are critical. And if you get there and you achieve it, you're like, yeah, shit, okay, that was great. And if it brings you immense joy and you feel as though you want to replicate it or take it to a new level, fantastic. But be aware that that is a stepping stone in your life, in the process of learning, becoming a better version of yourself, and it will lead to something else. And we can quite happily tell you that it will lead to a space where you will be looking for what we are looking for, what we're searching for: enlightenment, self-improvement, mindfulness, peace, joy. The best thing we can aspire to be is happy. I've had some wonderful news recently for me. Is my youngest daughter has started work this week at a dental practice as a dental assistant. Now, this is something that she has always wanted to do since the age of, as long as I can remember, 4 or 5 years old, been fascinated with teeth and wanted to do dentistry. The school environment was super challenging for her, and we have worked through getting her to a stage where she was confident and comfortable. She did an amazing course with a group called Talent Rise that helps prepare youth for the workforce. She put 3 job applications, got accepted for all 3, and had one that's not far from us, and a great practice and a great group of people. But this is something that she always wanted to do. And at the back of her mind, even when times got tough through school, it was something that we could connect to as a pathway to say, hey, we may be struggling now, but there are some things we can do to help get to that big goal. And now she gets to experience, she gets to live it, and we get to celebrate it as a team. So having those things, it might be an occupation, it might be a dream, are super important. If you're struggling, you can check in with it. You don't have to feel down if you're not quite there. That's the whole point, right? You think about what are the steps. If it's important to you and it keeps bringing itself up in life, it keeps presenting it to you, and it will. If it's meant to be, it will keep presenting itself. Opportunity will keep presenting itself. Then just check in and say, okay, where am I at? What are the steps I need to take? Is it education? Is it physical? Is it mental? Is it spiritual? What do I need to do right now to get me closer? Not to get me there tomorrow, but to get me closer, to get me on the path. And again, we talked about it before. You may deviate slightly. It may lead you to another path. But also, that path might lead you back to your OG goal, to your OG dream. So if there is something, again, assess if it is yours. Is it important to you? Is there something that you've really wanted to do, but you have fear to actually express it, to talk about it to someone? I think that's critical too. We hang on to it and go, yeah, I really wanted to do this, but I didn't because I felt stink, and my friends thought I was a dick because I get fucked. If it's important to you, and if they are your friends, they'll love it, they'll understand it. I chatted to a young guy at the gym, and I said, look, what type of fitness do you do? He said, I'm a dancer. I'm like, holy shit. And I wouldn't have picked it in a million years. And he said, yeah, I'm super passionate about dance. What type of dance? We had a conversation about what type of dance. He loves everything. He loves movement, he loves music, and he has dreams to go overseas and chase his dream dancing. And I'm like, fucking good for you, man. That's awesome. How amazing that a young guy, has a love for movement, has a love for dance. You can see his eyes light up when he talked about it, and he's already thinking about my future is, and he'll chase that. I know he'll chase that, and he'll be successful because you can see it. You can tell if you light up talking about something, that's the one, eh? That is the one.
I was going to say, I think it's really important, and I know, like you said before, to voice it out and have those conversations about it. in two different ways. It's important to reinforce and understand if that's what you actually want, like you said, you know, or if it was put onto you. Now, like pressure testing an idea in terms of like sharing it and verbally sharing it out to people and having them discuss this with you. I mean, that is extremely powerful. And someone like me growing up, I had no one that did that with me, right? So everything I built towards or going to university, everything I did was purely out of luck or let's see what happens. Do I want to study this? I don't know. I'm just going to go because my mates are going. Where having people like you do with your daughter, having support people in your life to question those things is extremely valuable. And not everyone has it. And not everyone has the courage to even talk about it. And I mean, again, in New Zealand, let's talk about New Zealanders being, you know, we like to shoot everyone down for having big or hairy, audacious goals, don't we? We love that. You know, I've traveled the world and everyone knows about tall poppy syndrome, about how New Zealanders are like, you know, just drill everyone. So if you stood on your soapbox and said, I want to be an All Black, how do I get there? Everyone's going to go, oh, you stuck up bastard. You think you're so awesome, don't you? Yeah, you're not going to be an All Black. You're a loser. Like, so there's all these different things to consider, but having that safe environment or the right people around you to be able to share those words. Because I know there are times where I had business ideas in the past, and it wasn't until I voiced these things out, either number one, I realized, holy shit, that's a go, or number two, holy shit, what am I thinking? Because in your head, everything seems amazing, and it seems like the best idea, and you haven't really thought all the steps out. And then when you start pressuring it, so I love that idea of sharing, again, like sharing your dreams and your thoughts and your ideas. But you have to understand that not everyone thinks the same way you do either. So you might have your dreams and someone might think it's a dumb idea. Doesn't mean it is a dumb idea. In their eyes, it just may not be the right person to kind of help you, you know, voice out this plan you have or this thing you want to do. So, bro, I think the moral of what I'm trying to say is having support people around like yourself. And that's all I want to do. All I want to be for my kids is to be able to be there to help guide them in these situations and help center them into what they, you know, find out what they love and what inspires them, and then give them the confidence to go for it. If you want to be a freaking a famous movie star in America, then I want to make sure that I'm here to offer them the support and make sure that they can stand tall and go, fuck, whatever happens, old mate dad's right behind me every step of the way. I've got nothing to worry about. I'm fucking going. Whereas in my world, in my life when I was younger, it was more like, let's just see what happens. And then if it doesn't work out, I'm just going to play it off like you said. Timing was wrong, too many injuries, you know, blah, blah, blah. But really, it was the attitude and actually not acting the way you're speaking. You know, actions were not in line with what you're saying with your voice. So, yeah, some great stuff there, eh?
It can be a magnet, eh? And it's just that reinforcement, because you do have to share your ideas. Imagine the Wright brothers way back when talking about flying, and people are going, mate, what the fuck is wrong with you? You actually want to build something that flies? But we're pretty safe on the ground. What's the purpose of that?
Boats are
and
good,
here
mate.
we
Boats
are.
Are good.
Yeah, boats are good. There's nothing wrong with boats, mate. I love a 3-month travel to get where I want to go. Yeah, so you've got to be able to throw it out there. You've got to have people that support you, or if someone's going to check you on it and say, well, yeah, look, I love that that's something when you do. Have you thought about this? So, you know, if you are in a position where someone's telling you something that they're really passionate about, help them through it. You know, don't shoot them down. Listen to it. Why they want to do it is pretty important. How they want to do it is pretty important, and that's the journey of self-discovery too, for them to actually, you know, I'm going to say it out loud, it'll make it real. Does it sound ridiculous if I say it? But we've got to be in a position where we support each other through those decisions. I still think, you know, the universe has a plan for all of us, things that we were born to do, and you can see it when people are in their element. Some people are born to run and dance and sing and do all of those types of things, have been given absolute gifts or have worked towards getting to a stage where, you know, they own that space or it becomes a part of them. And you see it, it's just organic. It's just in everything that they do. They emit it from their pores. It's absolutely part of their being. I love that. But you can also tell if someone's in the wrong environment and there's resistance and they're fighting it, and there's pain in everything that they do, in their posture, you know, in their performance. You can see that too. So investigate it.
Yeah.
Investigate it, and don't worry if it doesn't work out. Give it a go. I also think too, you know, like when you're communicating, if you're in a relationship, have you ever spoken to your partner or your prospective partner and said, hey, what's your dream for the future? I mean, is there something that you always wanted to do? Because you don't want to be the one that sort of breaks that chain for them, right? Because I know what can happen. You get in a relationship and you think, oh, I always wanted to do that. You know, what you want to do is find someone that supports your dream. And if you say, oh, I always wanted to travel, or I always wanted to go to a destination, or I always wanted to do this, I always wanted to run a marathon, and someone would go, fuck, that's awesome, mate. You know, well, why don't we do it? Why don't we do it together? You know, or I will support you to do it. That's something that I don't think I could do, but I'll support you. And hey, presto, they become part of it as well. So don't be afraid to share that with your partner. Don't hold on, feel as though you have to hold on to that stuff as well, or let it go. Because again, if it's something that you've always thought about, and the universe is continuously showing you signs, you know, when you think about stuff, you think, oh, I'll buy a car, and I think we've gone through this before. I used to just, oh shit, mate. You know what? I think I might buy a Tesla. And then all of a sudden you see every second car's a Tesla. You're like, what the fuck is going on here? Because you've never seen one before. It becomes part of your conscious. You start to pick it up.
That's right.
So the universe will continue to throw signs at you and lead you, not deter you. It'll always give you the opportunity to overcome previous lessons as well. So if you've been, the universe is a very forgiving space. It's a very forgiving place, right? And it's only our own memory that hangs on to a lot of shit. The universe will allow you to overcome obstacles and to move forward. And it's up to you to let go and learn from that and move forward with the help of all of those around you and the energy. So, you know, sometimes you've just got to, I guess it's surrendering of sorts to that outer body, to that foam pillow, to the thing that absorbs all the pain, that has the memory, and just letting go and allowing yourself to relax and actually float a little bit in the direction that the universe is taking you. We do have time. I know we sit and we watch the clock. Time is a construct. You know, space is infinite, and yet we put objects in front of each other. So time becomes relative because we're going from one space to another. And yes, that is out of the power of now. Otherwise, you know, space is just that. Space is infinite, but we have space inside of. We're made up of exactly the same stuff that's in the universe today. As we look out, gaze amongst the stars, we have an idea of distance, and we have an idea of time, but it's a construct, right? And the same material, the same matter, the same energy flows through us all. So it's pretty cool. It's vast. When you open up your level of thinking, and that's why some of the stuff that you listen to, and I guess some of the stuff that we talk about to people is like, oh fuck, where's that coming from, man? That's out there, but it is. That's right. Again, look, we talk about it. Hey, do people actually? Has anybody been to the edge of the universe? Do they know? They have an estimation based on what we can see, but we can't see it all. You know, we can witness an explosion, but not know how it happens directly. The reactions between chemicals, why it happens, why animals have certain instincts, why are humans so incredibly different with our memories and our ability to hold on to stuff. Yeah, bro, so fuck. But chase your dreams. Emphasis on your. A dream could be a projection of your future self, right? It could be a projection. It could be a snapshot fed to you of your future self. So if you are dreaming about one thing consistently, if you are seeing the signs, follow it. Don't let anybody get in your way. Surround yourself with people that will support you, carry you, and help you on the journey, because we are one team.
Well, and on that, bro, it's funny, because the more you speak of it, the more people know what you're doing as well. Remember, if everything's quiet and everything's a secret and you're not putting it out there, no one will know. How are people supposed to know if you don't share? You know, if you're looking for these opportunities, if your intentions are clear and they're set, people, again, the universe answers. people end up in front of you, like this guy yesterday having a chat with me about about spirituality and all these different things after 79 years of being asleep or sedated. Like, the intention to be open and to these situations and opportunities and these doorways will all be there. But if we're not putting it out there, they won't arise. So it's like someone coming up and offering you a job out of nowhere. They're not going to do that unless they hear you're looking for a job. You know, they're not often going to come and headhunt you. It might happen, but if they know that, holy shit, did you not? Yeah, he's looking to do X, Y, and Z. Like, I know this guy over here. Let's connect everybody and make, help that out because you've made it clear. And I think that's something that we need to do, really get better at, is like set those intentions and just be open, be ready, make sure the world knows what's going on,
Yeah, it's funny, because I watched a 60 Minutes article about an Aussie guy who became an international pop star, young singer, young fella, got dragged in and he put a couple of things on YouTube. Before you know it, he's supporting Justin Bieber and got thousands, hundreds of thousands of adoring fans, albums, millions of dollars. But he always wanted to be a swimmer. So when he came out of that environment, his parents talked about the situation they were in, where do we pick him up, because they had to move to LA. Do we pick him up and do we pick our family up and move to LA? The worst, and they were discussing it with a friend of theirs, and they said, well, the worst thing that could happen is that it's a failure and we just come home with our tail between our legs. And the actual light bulb moment for them was the friend said, no, the worst thing that will happen is that you'll show your son the importance of continuing to chase his dreams. And they're like, fuck, you're right. So they packed up and went, became an absolute superstar, millions of dollars, adoring fans. As they grow out of that, came back to a very comfortable life in Australia, but always wanted to do swimming, was a swimmer, and is currently trying to, which is a complete long shot, qualify for the Olympics in the pool. And a really interesting philosophy too, from music. And he said, if you wake up thinking about something and you go to bed thinking about something and you do everything in between to accomplish that, then you will be successful. You will get there.
Yeah. Doing the work.
So do we do that? Do we come even close? Because there's so many distractions, eh? Like I say, we get up in the morning and then all of a sudden we look at our phone and then boom, we're hardwired. As Elon Musk would say, we are already part cyborg. We are part of AI. AI is real. We are integrating now. So we're not far off. It's just the speed that it takes to interact. Sooner it'll be part of us. And fuck, what a crazy world it's gonna grow into. But I said it on my one of the D.M.C dailies. One of the really funny things that came out, because the Joe Rogan Elon Musk podcast, right? If you haven't seen it, it's 2.5 hours long. Have a listen to it. Have a listen to it, because if you've got a perception of it, Elon Musk is, man, he's out there, right? He's out there. He's an engineer. Smart as they come. Ideas come to him constantly. He said you wouldn't want to live life as him, because his mind is like a constant explosion. It's always overflowing. It's always an inferno. And he said, it's an absolute tough way to live. And people what do people think about? Oh, but he's a billionaire. Fuck, he's a billionaire. I mean, it wouldn't matter if he has 2 cents. He would think the same. But to hear him say he's trying, he's talked to the government about slowing down the development of AI, because it's going to get to a stage where it's getting a little too far advanced.
Develops its own language, eh?
Yeah, it develops its own language, learns way faster than we do. You think of the growth of AI compared to the growth of the human mind and how long we've been here. So he's actually already sat down with world leaders, with government. He said the problem is with a lot of world leaders, they don't understand science. So that's one thing, his wish, that these guys would actually understand how it works. They don't, they're politicians. He said the Chinese do. A lot of them have got degrees based in science, and they get it. But above all that, above all the technology, about the struggles we have with him trying to, promote a more carbon neutral, carbon friendly world, and get rid of fossil fuels, eventually fighting the bigwigs and conglomerates of oil and fuel. He said the biggest thing for us, he said, love is the answer. Love is the answer. I'm like, holy shit, I did not expect that to come out of that conversation. Here's a guy that's developing technology, uncrashable cars, you know, to a stage where we're not actually using fossil fuels, where we can only take so much carbon out of the planet and pump it back in, or pump it into the atmosphere. It's non-sustainable. You know, sure, we've got time left, but not a lot of time. We're talking about the generational health. The next generation will be fine, but there'll be sacrifices, you know, and slowly and surely we'll be overrun by it. But love is the answer. We need to learn to just be kinder to each other, to love the planet far more. You know, so aware of the stuff that I throw out, and recyclable. Just because I fill a recycle bin every day, I still look at it and go, do I need all that recycling shit, that plastic? What's a better way to do this? And supermarkets are starting to come up with recyclable, reusable bags is a great thing to use. Looking at products that are 100% recyclable. I think supermarkets actually, I know it sounds like a bit of a mission, but imagine where you could go to an aisle where every product, you know, every plastic is recyclable or is reusable. They're doing it with detergents now. All of those types of things are stuff we need to advance into to be kinder to the planet, to give the next generation, to our children's children, a better chance of living a healthy, happy life.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, mate, I put the recycling bin out this morning. Now, some of you will know I'm on my 4th week now without any alcohol, which is a long time for me, 4 weeks, and it's been amazing. Yeah, I'm loving it. But the thing I noticed today,
to celebrate, bro. Easy, let's go.
I tell you what, bro, I did notice today that our recycling bin is almost, when I put it out today, it was only half full. That thing is normally the end of every week. You know, it's quite full. Family of 4, wife and I have a couple of beersies here and there, mate. I was shocked. I was shocked. So think about on an average consumption of bottles of beer over the last 4 weeks, or anybody for that matter, how many bottles add up? You know, how it all just adds up. It all adds up. So it was just quite eye-opening. It was quite interesting.
Funny, because if you say, oh, my wife and I, we just have a bottle of beer a night. Okay, so that's 5 dozen at the end of the month.
Right.
That's a lot of bottles.
It's so many bottles.
But yeah. But if you enjoy a little bit of a tipple, it gets glorified a little bit on television. Everybody seems to drink. I think, you know, watching my wife's a massive Shortland Street fan. I think everybody on that show is a flipping alcoholic. All they do is go for wine all of the time. All they do is drink. They meet at a pub all the time.
Yeah.
For goodness sake, Shorty Street, clean it up. Mate, don't glorify alcohol.
It's one of those things that I saw recently. It was like the only sort of drug or something that when you don't do it, people question it. They don't question if you do it. They think you're normal, but if you don't drink, that's not normal. Oh, why not? Why don't you drink? It's kind of like, whereas if I said, oh, I don't take drugs. Oh, good on you, man. Awesome. You know, like it's like that people support these things, and then alcohol is the one thing that you're weird if you don't. That's
I think we've talked about this before, eh? I mean, you know, people are like, why don't you? Why don't you drink? What's wrong with you? I mean, it's more acceptable than it used to be back in the day, you know, certainly. But you know, you can say, oh, I'm driving, then they back off a little, but it may be you know, a philosophy. Like I said, you know, I just saw what it was doing to a lot of people around me, and I didn't want to be that. And look at me now.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, mate, in 4 weeks, only 4 weeks, easily, like there's a lot of benefits, there are a lot of benefits to it. I feel like I've got less down days or less tired days than I normally used to have, meaning like just days where I'm just crashed out, or, you know, I sleep on the sofa by 3. So overall, my energy levels overall and my vigor seems a lot higher. And now I wasn't a heavy drinker. I only drank maybe once a week. And that would be like, you know, red wines or whatever. So it's not like, you know, it wasn't like I was drinking every single day getting hammered. So think about that change. So I know dry July is coming up, and I've been seeing a lot of people posting on that, about to give it a nudge. And you can sort of see, like I think it's a really good idea just to give it a go, see what you think.
Well,
Eh?
bro, you wouldn't get alcohol poisoning if alcohol wasn't poison.
Yeah, that's right.
You can run a vehicle off alcohol.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yep. Mate, in Korea, they used to put in bottles of soju, which is this crazy, like, I suppose if you don't know Korean alcohol, it's similar. People say it's similar to like sake, for example, but just people know that, but it's not really. But anyway, these little bottles of soju, they would put the spray bottle tops in them and use them as table cleaner because it was cheaper than disinfectant and cleaner, and it's like so powerful. It was like clean the table off, and that's what everyone's doing shots of all day. Hey, hey.
Yeah.
Hangovers.
I did actually. I had a low carb Ligera, a Corona. We went to a Mexican restaurant to celebrate my daughter's graduation. I thought, oh shit, I'll have a cold brewski. And the guy said, yeah, mate, bit of a nightmare. I know the manager there quite well. He said, mate, you can have this, because he said we bought, I don't know how many hundreds of dozen on a special from Corona, and no one drinks it. Low carb beer. No one drinks it.
Low carb.
Yeah. No one wants the low carb buzz. Everybody wants the shugs. There's nothing wrong with it. Yes, I got a free beersy out of that because people are afraid of the low carbs because it's not real beer. Doesn't put hair on your chest like real beer, mate.
Mate, it's not the beer that you got to worry about, mate.
Punch like real beer.
It's the behaviors around the day. It's the behaviors around the snacking. If it's weight is an issue, but for lifestyle wise, for me, as soon as beers come out, mate, potato chips, bags of chips, all sorts of snackage comes out. It just never ends. It's just all part of the romance of it all, eh? The beer itself, some low carb beers, no issues.
Doesn't put a scrummed out at a concert like real beer.
That's exactly right, mate. Hell yeah, boy. Mate, I tell you.
Mangy on the beersies. Kingfisher Strongs, please stay away from Kingfisher Strongs. But if we were sponsored by Kingfisher, we'd be like, get in the Kingfisher Strong.
Yeah, wait. Oh, okay.
8 cans and 1 can. Why wouldn't that be good for you?
Just water now, mate. Just lots and lots of water.
Lots of agua. I bought myself a 1.5 litre bottle that I found that's an easier way than continuously trying to fill. I'm like, okay, if I can drink 2 of these, if my commitment is to drink 2 of these a day, I'm good. 3 litres is good. If I drink another one, then but man, you go wheeze.
Yeah, it takes a while to settle you down there, like, because I put everyone on, roughly 3 to 4 liters a day is what. So I do about 4. I do 4 of these a day. I'm okay now, but 3-4 weeks ago when I started it, mate, wow, wowzers. When I prepared for my bodybuilding competition, I did the approach where you overhydrate. There's a lot of ones where you do water control. You cut water beforehand. So I went with the whole. I had a 2-liter milk bottle, and I punished that like 13 of them a day or something. It was a ridiculous amount of water you were drinking. And you wouldn't believe how often you just flushed out. And then the thing was, though, once you stop drinking the water, your body still keeps flushing it out. So obviously, you get rid of every last bit of moisture, and then boom, you're on stage, pound out with abs and God knows what. So crazy times.
The difficulty too, because water, purified water is actually something that you want to try and steer away from. I know we're kind of, nothing better than purified water, but purified water is like boiled water, right? It's heated water, and it takes a lot of the minerals out. The minerals are actually what makes water great. Magnesium, calcium, potassium, nitrates. There's a lot of stuff in water that we need. So, and the body's made up of it. Now, if we're flushing purified water through the system, what it does is it's actually, is porous the right word, but it will pull those minerals out of the body as it passes through. If it doesn't have magnesium in it, it'll look for magnesium, it'll pull it out of the body, and it'll actually flush out. That's why it's dangerous to drink too much water, because it'll actually suck all of the electrolytes out of your body and flush everything out of your body. So, that's why there's actually a lot of naturally aspirated, some of the sparkling waters, you'll see that they've got a significantly higher amount of minerals in them. And I know people say fizzy water is bad. I call BS, it's not. But you can tell because the water is actually thicker. It's weird. Water's not water. Water with more minerals in it is actually a little bit thicker.
A bit more viscosity.
The taste is way different. We say, that tastes chemically or It's not. We get used to fluoride in our water, or purified water that has a specific taste, but you can definitely taste, some would say some of the higher content with minerals can taste quite metallic.
Yeah.
And that's actually not a bad thing. So just have a look. If you do have to bolster the water with, there's some great sugar-free electrolyte substitutes available where you can put in an effervescent little tablet, and that'll give you magnesium and a zinc, calcium, all of those types of things. Zinc is great for testosterone for men too, apparently. And Lord knows we need some more testosterone.
Mate,
Well,
definitely need more testosterone,
anyway.
mate. Everyone, mate. Let's not talk
and if
about
you're
it.
serious about chasing your dreams, you need to be hydrated, peeps. That's for gosh dash sure.
Hydrated, fueled with the right foods. You need to be sleeping well, and do not forget lots of this one up here. Lots of sunlight in your face.
Mate, is anybody else hanging out for summer?
Oh, mate, I'm over
that's
it.
the
I'm
funny
over
thing.
it. Yeah,
These
same.
Kiwi winter days where it's 9 degrees outside, but the sun comes out, mate. We are t-shirted up, jandals on. We're walking outside. I'm just about ready to head down the beach. But the thing that gets me is the rain. And those will know we've still got a bit of a construction project going on down in my backyard, still uncompleted. It's beyond a first world problem. Yeah, I know it is. It's funny to have anxiety around it. It is an issue. I'd like to be able to sit and relax and experience some downtime with the fan bam. I know it's something that they really want to do, but yet still going through that and continuing to go through that. So I'll keep you posted in that space. That's a little bit of, I guess, not self-imposed stress, but yeah, man.
Just taking some mental real estate, mate. It's just got a bit of mental real estate.
Yeah. I can't let that affect me or sway me in any way. And one thing that I did learn, and same thing with the job at the moment, I can't hold people accountable to my standards.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I feel as though, like if I had something to do, I want to do it. I want to get it done because I know that there can be implications where it causes stress. Some people aren't that way inclined, and it could be as simple as going through some stuff at the moment with people just taking 2 minutes to sign contracts, etc. But there's always I'm too busy or I'm too that, and then all of a sudden it becomes a problem when if they want something to go, I need that now. Well, I can't do much about it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think, look, if I had the opportunity to do it, I would go, yep, done. 5 minutes, one thing off the list, next.
Yeah.
Or looking at standards of workmanship, all I can do is articulate it and say, hey, I've got to have that communication with the contractor and the builder to say, hey, this is what's in my mind. I need you to see it. We need to communicate it. This is the standard that I'm working to. It may be slightly different to your standard or what you're working with, but you need to understand my vision, or else I'll be disappointed at the end of it, which is what I'm sure he doesn't want, and definitely what I don't want. So working through that as well. So, I think it's important to hold people accountable, but your standards will always be different as long as you communicate them effectively. Rather than calling people out or letting it frustrate you. Everybody moves in different ways. Again, everybody's chasing that different dream, the illusion, the future. The path is different for all of us, how we get there. It's completely up to us, bro. Yeah, mate, but we're living, we're learning. There's stuff that we're coming out with each and every week as a byproduct of these conversations, and we hope our listeners and our viewers are really benefiting from it. Again, we really would love more people to reach out to us. You can slide into the DMs. Look out for the competition that's coming up, because it's going to be a cracker, just a way to get some engagement, a way for us to say thank you. We've got some big, hairy, audacious goals in terms of some of the content. We're continuing to challenge ourselves with approaching some guests. Going to slide into some DMs of some.
Well, some people might slide into our DMs, bro.
Well,
I had one of my old coaches from Canada today go, "Oh, mate, let me know when you want me on your podcast." So he's
Ooh.
putting his hands up. I'm like, mate, never know,
Yeah,
brother.
you never know if they got something to say. But I'm there's a couple of people, and yeah, I won't even drop names, but there's a couple of people that don't actually live in this country that are huge, but I just love the way they think. So I'm like, fuck it, send them a message. If they've got an assistant that reads it, whatever. But at least I have made an attempt
Yeah.
to reach out, to contact, to have a discussion for our benefit. So that's what I'm doing. I'm busy sliding into DMs. So you watch this space.
I already told you, mate. I slid into the Rocks DMs, mate. It's yeah, no love though. Did my best, mate. This is back in the day too. Did my best. No reply,
mate, I go again.
Yeah, no, I never
If
give
he
up.
wants you to smell what he's cooking,
yeah, you got to.
We
be
won't
there,
advertise his tequila, maybe his sugar-free energy drink.
Yeah, mate, definitely.
But he talks about mana, the importance of mana. It's connected. We're all interconnected. The Samoan culture is very dear to us here in New Zealand. It's an important part of who we are, our identity as well, and a wonderful part of my upbringing through some pretty amazing people. So yeah, there's some connections there, mate. So come on, Rock. Come on, Dwayne.
I know you're watching this, mate.
Yeah, mate. Come on, bro. Cut us some slack, mate.
So, all right, brother. So I think let's have a little bit of a reminder to everyone to please like and subscribe. You know that we really appreciate it. Get onto our Instagram because that's where we post up daily DMCs. If you're not there yet, get there. And look back on everything. There's again, like you always say, Riggers, there's a huge library of information there. There's 77 or 78 DMC dailies on there, daily DMCs. There's, I don't even remember what we've talked about, mate. We need to go back and look over them, but there's so much there. Go back and have a look, comment, like, subscribe, share, and yeah, stand by for a little giveaway to be announced this evening.
Yeah, we set our goal on 100, didn't we? And we're so close to just ticking over that. Ticking over that 100, holding yourself accountable, understanding the importance of it individually and collectively. These messages are for you. It's our thoughts on the daily, our way to communicate a little bit of message, how we're feeling, and we're making it normal to think out loud. I guess that's what we're trying to do, bro? Right, So the challenge again is always, peeps, go out there, have that deep and meaningful chat, have a conversation, but go deep. Ask the person dearest and nearest to you, what are your dreams? What's something you always wanted to do? Is there anything you've always wanted to do that, travel is going to be tough for a little bit, but you can express yourself in different ways. Have you been everywhere in New Zealand? Are there locations you can go to here to express yourself through travel? Are there cultural and spiritual experiences on offer in New Zealand? Yes, there are 100%. There are some amazing spots in New Zealand. We have an amazing, deep, rich history that we need to discover and we need to develop, because it's not only part of who we are, but it's also part of the healing process in terms of us moving forward. So there's some cool stuff, some stuff that we be vibing on that we're super interested to bring to you guys, and we'll continue to challenge ourselves. Just want to say thank you so much for the level of support and the love, and for people continuously tuning in, to reaching out if you are a super Uber user. And this is your 17th podcast that you have tuned into. Man, you're a fucking legend. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it. We know that there's such great value in people that know us. It's like just listening to us talk. We know there's great value in the guests that we have. We'll continue to challenge yourself in that place. Like I say, sliding into more DMs than Kim K, yo. So I'm not sliding into that DM anyway. But we will continue to challenge ourselves in the hope that you can discover just a little bit more about yourselves, or have a desire to discover a little bit more about the wonderful, energetic human being that you are, about the energy that you have, about the power that you have. We just want to say, we really, truly love you, hand on heart. Just want to thank Cody also for just being the inspiration, just to get up and get out and just do shit. Do shit.
Love it, bro. Love it, bro. Appreciate you, man. Everyone, have an awesome day. And remember, have a DMC today. And we'll see you all next week. Cody and Adam out. Peace.
Peace.